Hey y'all, Myria Com here again, they, them, theirs. Thanks for being here to listen to me ramble about stuff. So, I wasn't even gonna do a recording today. I was like, whatever, y'all don't need a recording every single day. You can handle life without me. and, I was got off work early today for reasons that are I worked late a few days this week, so I got off early today and went and did my steps, and I was listening to some stuff while I was walking. I didn't get enough steps in, for the record. It's too hot. It's too hot. Couldn't do it. It's 90 some degrees and humid. Couldn't do it. So I got enough, but not enough. Is what I'm gonna say. Anyway, was listening to stuff while I was walking, and I got just like an interesting thing came up, and the thing that was interesting that came up was talking about if you're an adult who's bad at making decisions, that might be a sign that when you were younger, no one trusted you to make decisions of any kind. Like, no one trusted your choices when you were younger. And I'm just like, oh, that's probably true. The more things I listen to, the more I'm like, oh, I probably did not have as good of a childhood as I thought I did. I mean, I don't think I had an awful childhood, but I also don't remember a lot of it, like I said in my recording yesterday. So, maybe it was worse than I thought. Not necessarily, like, intentionally either. I'm not saying my parents were jerks on purpose for some things. For some things, they definitely were, but, and when I say jerks on purpose, I mean caring more about what they wanted than what their kids wanted or needed. Yeah. But, I don't know. Just, like, I keep hearing things, and then it's kind of like big light bulb sometimes, or small light bulb going off, and I'm like, oh my god. Yeah, that's probably true. And that's the whole thing, so it's just kind of interesting, and I don't even know, like, at some point, maybe I should, like, really try and outline the things I do remember from my childhood and just talk about it, or at least write it down even, so that I can take a closer look and be like, okay, where am I at? Where are things? What are things? What do I remember? What don't I remember? What might I be remembering incorrectly? Because human memory is messed up, and I acknowledge that, and while there have been a number of times I have been gaslit by my parents, for example, telling me that I don't remember things properly, or that never happened, or whatever, I'm just like, there are probably things that I remember that are not entirely factual, but I think for the most part the things I do remember are true. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And it's interesting to, like, hear these things just in passing, or just, like, randomly, because sometimes it's just, like, some random thing that pops up on my Facebook Reels or something. Yes, I'm old, I use Facebook. Also, I have to use Facebook for work. It's a whole thing. Not my choice exactly, but here we are. And, yeah, like, a lot of times it'll just be some random thing that pops up and, like, really hits, and I'm like, wow, what does that even mean? What does that mean for me? What does that mean for my life? What does that mean in terms of, like, is this a thing that actually happened and mattered? Or does it just feel like it because it resonates with me and it makes sense? Like, I do really struggle with making decisions, for example. What do I make for dinner? I don't know. I have to figure that out tonight, too. But, maybe that is something where it's like, maybe that is because I was never allowed to make decisions when I was younger, or my decisions were, like, overridden a lot of times, or whatever. Because, like, I don't know. And I'm not saying you should anyone should let kids make every important decision. There are definitely decisions parents have to make for kids, but, like, if where you go to school is a choice, should that not be at least partially up to the child who, has to go to that school? I don't know. It's just sort of interesting. And, like, I know that my parents would have the argument that that's what you wanted. And I'm just like, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's not what I wanted because I knew no one at the private school was going to like me still after I left for a year. No one liked me there anyway, but it was just like, I missed out on a lot of things because, like, I was the top of my class at the private school all throughout elementary school and middle school. I was the top of my class there. And that school gives out scholarships at the end of middle school to the person who is the top of the class. However, you have to go there your entire career up until that point. So, since I left for a year, I could not get that scholarship. And so someone who didn't deserve it got it. That's mean, they deserved it also, but you know. It's just, there have been so many things like that in my life where it's like, no, I didn't want to be there. I made the decision that I wanted to go to the other school, and then, like, first day of second year, had a bad day at school, and my parents were like, screw it, you're going back to the pub, or back to the private school. Really? Okay. I think, like, my estimation now as an adult, I think they used that as an excuse to send me back to the private school because they couldn't find another reason to do that. And so they used it as an excuse. That's my estimation. Uncharitable estimation as an adult looking back in hindsight. It might not be fair, but that's the only thing I can think of, because why else would you? Why else would you send your child back to a different school just because they had a bad day? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I didn't have friends at the private school. Like, why would me having a bad first day of school? Why would that mean, okay, you have to go back to this other school now? I had friends at the public school. I did not have any friends at the private school. So, that was ridiculous and stupid. Anyway, which, now that I'm talking about that, that's also, like, really kind of interesting because I wanted to move up a grade or two in elementary school, and my parents would not let me do that either. And they cited social reasons, saying, like, your social life will suffer if you do that because you will be much younger than other people in your class, and that didn't matter to me because I didn't have friends anyway in elementary school at this private school. So, like, I didn't care about that. My parents cared about that for some reason, but I didn't have friends anyway, so it didn't make a difference. Like, yeah. And then went to a public middle school for 1 year, had a bad first day of second year, and they were like, yeah, we don't care that you have friends now. We don't care that you have a social life now. Fuck that. Go back to the private school. Because you had a bad first day. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I've always just assumed, going back to my video yesterday, I've always assumed that it was because they legitimately thought it was what was best for me, for some reason. Now I think there were ulterior motives because I'm not giving them the benefit of the doubt anymore. And that's kind of sad, but that also, like, plays back into, there were, like, these times where I was trying to make decisions as a child and was not allowed to, or my decisions were overridden, or I was just flat out told no, or whatever. Like, hey, I'd like to move up a couple of grades. No, that's bad for you. How is that bad for me? Like, there are so many more ways it would have been good for me than the ways it would have been bad for me. So, that's frustrating. There were clearly some ulterior motives. It clearly was not about what was best for me. It was clearly, there were just clearly ulterior motives of some kind, and I don't know what they were. But it's frustrating to think about it now. And now I'm just going to keep thinking about that. I think it's going to be my whole weekend now. It's just thinking of all of my parents' ulterior motives for the decisions they made when I was a child. I never thought I had that bad of a childhood, but now I'm wondering. I mean, there were so many other things, like, I went to a couple of violin camps. Were those my decisions? I don't know. I can't remember if I wanted to go or if they decided I needed to go. They were good. I'm not saying they weren't. But, like, and I learned stuff. I'm not saying I didn't learn anything. It's more just, why was this a thing? Was it because I wanted to go? Or was it because they decided I needed to? I don't know. Interesting. And these are questions I won't get answers to because I'm not in contact with my parents, so, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was, interesting. I thought it was a wild thing to think about because I do struggle a lot with making decisions. I'm sorry, I'm moving around so much. I had an itch on my foot. I really do struggle with making decisions, and the more I think about it, the more I realize that, like, yeah, I wasn't allowed to when I was younger. I was just shot down too many times, and in terms of, like, group decisions, like family decisions about stuff, I was shot down all the time, too. I'm thinking in, like, even simple stuff, like, we got a cat at one point, and I wanted this one, like, it was out of a litter of farm cats, and I wanted this one cat, and my sister wanted this other cat, and my choice didn't matter. We went with my sister's choice because she is the baby of the family. Not saying it's a problem with my sister, it's a problem with my parents deciding that what she wanted was more important than what I wanted. So, yeah. Just interesting to think about. The more I explore the things about my childhood I do remember, the more I'm like, oh, it probably wasn't good. I would like to talk to my sister and brother about it at some point, but honestly, we would, like, and my brother has talked about this, but he's not really good at follow-through, is what I'm gonna say. I think the three of us need to just, like, get together, just the three of us at some point, and just the three of us have, like, a weekend and just talk about stuff. I think that would be worthwhile. I love his kids, but, like, not have his kids there, not have my brother-in-law there, not have my parents there, just the three of us siblings. I think that would be kind of cool. But he's not very good at follow-through. And, like, for the most part, it kind of comes down to him and what works for him, because he works the most. My sister also works a lot, but, like, we'd probably do it in the city my sister and I live in, because we are both here. And my brother could stay with my sister. Like, they've got plenty of room there. Or we would find somewhere in between, I guess. In between where my sister and I live and where my brother lives. But I think it would be helpful if the three of us talked about stuff. And not just the same stories. Because for a lot of our lives, and I don't know how much of this is just, like, they're the nice stories, so they're the ones we talk about. Like, not all of them are nice either, though. Some of them are, like, injuries and stuff. But they are memorable. So we talk about the same stories over and over and over whenever we get together at family stuff. But that's also, like, with more family, so I don't know. I think that would be worth us doing at some point. We just have to actually follow through and do it, and I don't know when that's going to happen. Because my brother and sister are both so busy. I never have the mental energy to do anything, and I don't want to plan shit, so. And also, like, me planning stuff would be, hey, you two, when are you free? And you know what? I already do event planning at work. I don't want to have to do it outside of work, too. But, I mean, I could, if I had to, I guess excuse me. If I had to, I guess I could do that. We'll just have to see. Anyway, now I'm rambling. Oh wait, my whole premise of my videos is that I ramble. Anyway, thanks for listening. I appreciate that. I am gonna try and explore more about my childhood, I guess. Maybe I should make another playlist that's just about my childhood. I don't know. Who knows? We shall see. Thanks for listening. I appreciate that. Let me know if you have any comments, either in the comments section or via email. You can reach me there too. And I'll try and chat at you again soon. Bye.